Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Hello, everybody, and good Saturday morning to you, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. And Brett and Scott here for the final show of 2023. Scott, it went by in a flash.
Yeah.
It goes by faster and faster every
It does.
year,
Especially now with a young kid
yeah,
on the way.
I told you.
I don't even know what day it is most days, but it's been a fun year. A lot of interesting things from the high school and collegiate level, and just sports in general. But it's been a great year for Sports Blitz and R&B Media as always.
I want to look back on 2023 and reflect on some of the things that highlights, I guess lowlights too, everything in between. That's what you do when you look back on a year and see some of the things that went your way and some things that didn't go your way. But I'll start with Benjamin Russell. Right here in our local area. Football season, last year's basketball year, all that carries over. A lot of people forget, things carry over into the new year. But Benjamin Russell's had a really good run this past year. A lot of our schools in this area have had good runs in 2023 and done some really good things, and want to build on that going into the new year. But obviously, we were excited here at in Alex City about the potential of what the high school season would bring back during the summer, and watching this team in 7-on-7 and the different athletes that we knew we were going to have. And it turned out, Randy and I talked about on the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show, I think if you looked over and said, would you say this year was a success, or did you meet or exceed expectations, you definitely did that with this football team.
Oh, absolutely. I think, outside of the opportunity to play for a state championship, you couldn't have asked for a better season.
Right.
From the way that the community was involved, the support that you saw amongst teammates, the getting back to what Alex City is accustomed to as it relates to its football program, and having somebody like Coach Grider leading us, and being able to have probably at least in the last 15 years or so, probably the best collection of athletes that we've seen on the football field in a very long time. And I think what has happened now is that last year really started 3 or 4 years ago, really, with Braden's class. I never want to forget that they kind of were the catalyst to get things going back. But this group of kids now really, I think, can start a pipeline of getting kids back to college. Right. Have Malcolm Simmons going on to play at Auburn. Gabe Benton may not play on the football side, but more than likely has a great opportunity to play on the baseball side. And then we have some younger guys, freshman and sophomore kids, and Caleb Spivey and Darren Morgan, respectively, who will more than likely, again, be one of those SEC guys. So I just think the program has found itself back to what we're accustomed to. And I had this conversation with somebody yesterday. You can't win it if you're not playing for it, or if you're not in it. If you're not making the playoffs and not making runs, you don't have a chance to play for a blue map. So I'm very excited about the future of the program and where we are currently.
And Gabe and Jai won the Player of the Year. Offensive and defensively, if you look at their numbers, and if you looked at the Alabama-Mississippi game, Gabe Benton should have been the quarterback down there for the South. I mean, for the Alabama team, not the North-South game, but for the Alabama team, Gabe Benton, or should have been in the North-South. Yeah. One of the two. It didn't matter. He should have been a quarterback in one of those two All-Star games. Not a knock on either kid from Opelika or Mary Montgomery, but Gabe, his numbers, his performance, his ability, was better. I mean, I'm taking the biased glasses off and I'm looking at it objectively here. And if I had those three guys on a playground and I'm picking one, I'm picking Gabe Benton. If I've watched film on any of them, and again, it's not a cut on the other two guys. I thought they were pretty good, but Malcolm even said if Gabe would have been there, maybe been able to perform a little bit better offensively, everybody all the way around. So, but that's neither here nor there, but a great run. Like you said, you got to continue in a school like ours to get maximum effort out of all the kids that want to play. You gotta keep your numbers up. You gotta be able to compete with depth, and we know that. But a good run, a field goal game against Pike Road in the quarterfinals. Man, it was a tough one, but man, it was a good football game. I look back on that football game, Scott, and think those two teams were very even. Pike Road goes down to Saraland the next week and kind of gets run out of the stadium. And it's not a cut on Pike Road, but I think, the two of our programs were very, very even. And it came down to basically who had the ball last, and Pike Road had the ball last. And, they got some young guys, too, that are going to be back that's going to help them continue on. And Saraland just shows you that not necessarily the best team always wins the state championship. I'm not saying Clay Chalkville wasn't the best team, but I don't think anybody would argue that Saraland, in most people's eyes, was the best team, maybe 7A through 1A. And, they get there and they have a valiant effort, but Clay Chalkville and Drew Gilmer and that group just were able to make one or two more plays than they were able to make. And it was a great championship game, but I know Saraland is disappointed because of how bad they beat everybody and what an easy route. And I hate to not to say it was easy for them, but they made it look easy getting to that point.
Yeah, and I can sit up here and say, and we can sit up here and say, it was still a great year, and they wanted to win, and it shouldn't neglect like what happened throughout the regular season and through their playoff run, but they would have wanted to win it. But saying that, sometimes it's just your year, and Clay Chalkville can, they've been there, last 3 or 4 years, been competing for 5, 6 years actually. But I think that when it's your year, and
right.
Things just. No, I think coming into the game, people thought it'd be a good one, but when you had Ryan Williams and the amount of talent that they had, you thought that they would get it. But that's what I love the most about high school football is that you never know, and, again, you can't win it if you're not there.
That's right. I mean, you can't assume that somebody would run you out of a stadium. Or not. You don't know what's going to happen on that given night. Turnovers, guys stepping up, making plays that maybe haven't made plays before. That's all part of it. But overall, I think you look at Reeltown, they continue to be a staple here in this area. Coach Johnson, year in and year out. They've had a couple tough hurdles to get over. Again, Fife just seems to be a hurdle for everybody, but Fife moves up to 3A. So I think that's obviously going to help everybody in 2A getting them out of there. But everybody knows that Fife, last time they moved up 3A, all they did was win that one too. So, but I think Matt Johnson has positioned that program to where they're going to be right there every single year for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and, for a community that very similar to Alex City where, the expectation of winning is there, and he's somebody who comes from that culture, played for Coach Jackie O'Neill and understands the expectations of winning. But he has, I think, done everything you could do to have a program be where it is. I mean, they're consistently making the semis or playing for a state championship, or, they're continuously beating the teams that they need to get themselves in a position to play for one. And I think he's one of the best coaches in the state, and I love getting to watch him lead this program. And he has great community support, has a great staff, and they have some younger guys too that I think now have been a part of the program for a while to where they can continue to build upon that. But they're going to get one eventually. You keep knocking on the door, eventually you'll knock it down, and I think they'll get one at some point.
Toolman said, with losing the talent at BRHS that we lose this year, what changes do we expect from an offensive standpoint this year? It's going to be a different look team. I mean, there's no question, but I think the team still is going to be very talented. It's going to have a chance to make a run. I think you're going to see a lot more defensive games than you are offensive games. Now, again, there's still a lot of talent on the offensive side that we haven't been able to see yet because it's been younger. And then, of course, this group, like you're saying, is moving on. But, by all purposes and rights and purposes, it will be Elijah Johnson at quarterback. Now, it could change depending on – because he had a great year at receiver, stepping in and being one of the younger guys there. But I think he's the guy that will be tabbed as heir apparent to Gabe Benton at quarterback. You got a 1,100-yard rusher back. You got a majority of your offensive line back. So I think you're going to see a lot more control offense, running the football, getting that part going, more clock management style. But you still got Sadarian Morgan and several of those guys that are going to step up and be big-time playmakers out at wide receiver. You may just not necessarily have the numbers of wide receivers that we've had this past year. And then on defense, I know you lose Jai Hicks and Cooper Spears and Caden Hyde, but you bring back a lot of experience. And again, you mentioned Caleb Spivey. You bring back one of the better secondaries I think we've had in a long time. It's going to be a different look, but I think this team's still going to win a lot of football games. It may just be by a different style. I
agree. And, I've had this conversation with Coach Ryder middle of the year, just saying, how would the offense look next year? And he said, pretty much what you're saying, you probably see a lot more running the ball and controlling it because the defense will be much better.
Adapt to your time.
Yeah. And so I think that fits his coaching style anyway.
Right.
I mean, he comes from that. And so, everybody loves to spread it out, and we will do that. But I could see somebody, too, like Sadarian moving over to the defensive side and playing a little bit more there, too. But I think that TJ comes back again with another 1,000-yard season, could have the emergence of somebody like Carson who maybe starts to play in the slot a little bit more. And then maybe, there's some younger talent. Maybe you could shift some things at the quarterback position to where you could have Elijah and getting your best players on the field all at one time. But I feel comfortable moving forward, especially on the offensive line. That was a very questionable mark coming into this season, is how would we
I think our line of scrimmage will be a strength for us.
So that changes everything now when you're coming into a season knowing those two things are your best, your offensive and defensive line, everything else can build around that.
No doubt. And I'd always rather start there.
Yeah.
And open up with Opelika, just an update there in case you don't know that out there. Opelika back on the schedule for Benjamin Russell. Open up with them at home, so that should be a good football game. They got a new coach. It's a rival game that's been played for years, and frankly, I'm glad to see them back on the schedule. So, up against our first break of the show, just getting started here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep this in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, That gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Another great year with those two sponsors. Been with us a long time, and we appreciate them very much. Couldn't do the show without them. Couldn't do the show without all of our sponsors, but JR's and Sunshine Heating and Air make sure we come to you every Saturday throughout the year. And, again, final show of the year, so we want to wish everybody a safe and happy new year. Big bowl games today, especially for the Auburn Tigers. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the program. But Auburn closing out the year with the Music City Bowl, and know a lot of people that went up there that'll be at the game, and should be fun. Would love to get a win, close out the season. Auburn's lost the last couple of bowl games they've been in, so need to get off the snide, and it doesn't matter who's playing. And, I'll get your take on these bowl games. Last night, Ohio State, and, just not a very good performance. Basically playing their third-string quarterback. Yeah. But Missouri, who in the world saw that coming? And I'm not talking about the bowl game last night, but who saw Missouri, 11 wins? And, look, the two losses were narrow to Georgia and LSU. I mean, it was – that's two of the best teams in the conference, obviously, early on, and Jaden Daniels ends up winning the Heisman. And, of course, Georgia goes on to play for another SEC, could easily, in my opinion, should be somehow in the playoff because they lost one football game by 3 points, and they're the two-time defending national champion. To me, that's the bigger travesty than the Florida State deal.
Agreed.
Even if – and look, Florida State is a travesty in the eyes of you pretty much saying, well, it doesn't matter what you did during the regular season. And we're not gonna go all the way back down that rabbit hole. But I'm saying Missouri was picked to finish 13th in the conference. I mean, did you talk about a hidden gem? I don't think anybody saw this coming.
It was funny. My wife and I were watching the game, and she saw the ranking of Missouri. She was like, "Why is that? I didn't realize Missouri was that good." And I was like, "I don't think anybody realized they were that good." And we talked about it going into the season, though. Even though I can remember doing a show where I was like, this may be it for him. He's like, they're expecting, this could be a year that if they're going to do something, Drinkowitz, he's got the year to do it. And that was, from start to finish, one of the better seasons we've seen. And they're from Missouri's standpoint, but since they've been in the conference, I mean, they've done a lot better. I thought that they would be they would be a bottom dweller, and they've had a couple of years where it wasn't their best. But I mean, they played for 2 SEC championships. They've played for New Year's Day, the Big Six.
They definitely exceeded expectations as a program coming into this conference.
I mean,
everybody wants to laud over Ole Miss over there with Lane Kiffin. I mean, the last time they won anything, you and I were a twinkle.
I enjoyed your exchange.
Well, I mean, just don't act like you've arrived at the kingdom of football in college, Ole Miss and Arkansas, when you ain't won anything. And don't I'd probably sit it out if my program had 12 wins all time against the guy that you're arguing with. So now kudos again. Your program's pretty doggone good now.
I want to ask,
but you ain't won anything. You haven't put anything in the trophy case. So look, are you content? I guess Ole Miss fans are content winning 10 games. I mean, I would if I looked at basically at my age and I would see what we've done as a program, I mean, 10 wins, I'd be ecstatic.
Well, let me ask this then. So, winning 10 games has become a, not going to say a norm, but it's where they are.
Right.
Lane Kiffin has figured out how to just win the portal. At what point does the expectation shift from just, hey, we're here, we're
Ask Mark Rick. Ask Mark Rick.
Yeah. Because at some point, I mean,
he lasted 14, 15 years doing that. And Georgia experienced some great times, but everybody knew there was more in the tank, and he couldn't get it out of him. So at some point in time, you have to decide as a program, and if Ole Miss is to grow and get to the next level and not just be content being mediocre or just winning 10 games and not having anything to show for it other than a guy tweeting out a bunch of junk all the time, come to the SIP and all that crap. You know, outside of that, if you want to get to the next level and actually put something in the trophy case, it probably starts this morning with Penn State.
But if you're Auburn, that's still not a program I'm worried. Like, I don't think of them as a program that I'm worried about.
Never should be.
Yeah, okay.
Never should be. Don't have the money, don't have the facilities, don't have the fan base. I mean, comparable. Auburn is a top 12 program all time. People can argue whatever they want to say. Alabama's probably number one. You know, there's some that probably argue that Michigan would be right there, but I read off a list yesterday that has Alabama at number one, and I'm fine with that because I think that's where they deserve to be. But Auburn's a top 12 program, and don't let anybody tell you not. If anybody else says that, they need to show you proof of why they don't belong there. Ole Miss is not there. Ole Miss is not a top 20 program all time in college football. So they have other strides to make to get to where they want to be in the same conversation with an LSU or a Georgia or an Auburn or an Alabama or anything like that. They haven't won anything. I mean, the last time they won something was in the 60s, Scott. I mean, good God. Yeah. I mean, at some point in time, along the way, you got to do something. And so if you look at who's had a better run since, and Ole Miss has been there the whole time, but Missouri comes into the conference, and they've been to 2 SEC championship games. And Ole Miss still, and the guy I was trying to make an argument with obviously didn't understand that during the divisions, Ole Miss and A&M were the only 2 teams in the West that didn't make the SEC championship game.
I mean, that's wild about Ole Miss.
They should have when Eli was there.
So I guess that's the point. So really, like with Auburn, you're looking at it and you say you've identified that Alabama, Georgia, you know what that is, and LSU, that is what it is. But really, outside of that, I don't see any other programs that I'm like, okay, like Florida has all the stuff that they should be. Tennessee has some cachet still.
I will tell you this that was shocking to me, and I know it's not apples to oranges, but Memphis, and we talk about this with Auburn, and Auburn's got its own L's. It's got to fix. Memphis, since 2014's had 4 10-win-plus seasons.
Wow.
Has Auburn had 4 10-win-plus seasons since 2014? I can answer for you real quick. No. So, in the same sense, if I'm on Twitter back and forth with an Ole Miss Arkansas fan, I know what our L's are too. You know, we've massively underachieved based on what we've had, and it's been because of, excuse my language, piss-poor decisions administratively. Making bad decisions, hiring wrong coaches, throwing money out the window, you know, and not being able to get some consistency. Maybe Auburn's fixed a lot of that now. So, but we'll come back. We'll continue talking about that. I just thought that was astonishing. I mean, if Auburn fans want to brag about years.
4 10-win
but
seasons.
Memphis has had 4 10-win seasons since 2014, and Auburn hasn't. So where are you mentally? Now, they don't play in the SEC either. That's why I'm saying it's apples to oranges. Up against another break. Stay tuned for the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best kept secret. 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need. With top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill. And our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Opelika Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram at 801 Columbus Parkway in Opelika has a massive inventory of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Every make, every model. Quality pre-owned vehicles are available at Opelika Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram. Located at 801 Columbus Parkway in Opelika and online at opelikafordchrysler.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. I'd like to know how many chicken fingers and chicken wings they fix in a year at JR's.
I thought you were about to say how many we've eaten.
Well, I mean that too. I mean that number's up there.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I mean, gosh dang. That's why I can't even fathom the amount. Has to be in
Tons.
Yeah.
Tons. I don't know, but I don't know, maybe Chris knows.
He knows.
Probably cooked every one of them.
Yeah, I was about to say.
A few. I mean, when he gets a breather. But again, thanks to JR's and Sunshine Eating in there. I want to talk about what we kind of stay with what we were talking about program expectations. If you're Ole Miss, and I think Lane Kiffin is having to make that program stand apart somehow. You can't keep doing things the way they've always been done and expect to gain ground on the top teams in the conference, especially now that you're going to add Texas. More concerning Texas, not Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Because after I watched Oklahoma, I'm looking forward to them making their first road trip to Auburn this year. And that'll be their first road game, by the way, of the season. And then they have to turn around and play Texas the next week. So they have Auburn on the road, and then they have Texas the following week. But it's only getting tougher is my point. There's no divisions. How do teams like Mississippi State, Arkansas, even Missouri, and of course Ole Miss not get lost and buried in all of what's going on? Again, Lane Kiffin, I think, dynamic, they're not going to have him forever. Mm-hmm. You know, I think Mississippi State if you're a Mississippi State football fan right now, you're concerned that you have been washed out to irrelevancy permanently. I mean, if I'm looking at this conference, Scott, is there anybody taking Mississippi State or Ole Miss as a team to win this conference in the next 10 years?
No. And I don't understand how – I mean, I know they had Mullen when they had this stretch, and he did what he did, but, like, I can't – you had that. I'm trying to think how they even had gotten to that point.
Then.
Yeah, that's what, like, you had your best team, and probably, you know, if Cam goes in 2010, that probably, you know, that could have shifted some things. But saying that, I'm with you. Like, when it went from 12 to 14 teams, I thought that they were a team that was hurt pretty badly from that. And so now with adding – 2 more teams, I think they go from a team that was hoping, like they hope to get 8 to 9 wins a year.
Right.
Now it's if they can get 500, they're trying to get to a bowl game now. I think that's where they are, and within a decade.
Put some things in perspective for
man.
In the BCS college football playoff era, there's only been 12 teams win a national championship since the inception, all the way back to 1999. All right, Alabama, Southern Cal, Florida State, they shouldn't be on the list. Well, no, they should. They should have won the first. They shouldn't have won the second.
Yeah, there you go.
Auburn, Oklahoma, Texas, Ohio State, Tennessee, LSU. Tennessee won the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson, Georgia, Florida, and Miami. That's it.
And of those teams now, I think so. Miami not really relevant anymore, kinda, but not really.
But Tennessee, Miami. Texas up until now, USC since early 2000s. I mean, really it's been Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia.
Yeah.
And LSU sprinkled in there. And I guess Auburn, if you wanted to go back 10 years, 11 years.
Gosh, it doesn't seem like it's been that like that. So listening to that, if you're a program, so that does two things for me.
How do you get to that?
Yeah.
How do you arrive at that point if you're Arkansas? How do you arrive at that point if you're Missouri? How do you arrive at that point if you're Kentucky in football? And Kentucky's got Mark Stoops, but they laid another egg yesterday against Clemson. Not a very good Clemson team, but obviously not a very good Kentucky team either. Is Kentucky content continuing to do what they do every
I think
year?
they are. I think that they may be of the teams we're talking about. I mean, I was like, I worked with a guy who's a huge Kentucky fan, and like they do think that they are capable of being an SEC contender. But for me, knowing like if I knew I was going to win 9 games every year in your Kentucky, like
let's be honest with these schedules now, which are brutal. I think there's 6 teams in the SEC, maybe 7. That have a chance year in and year out to win an SEC championship or even compete.
And that's not including Texas. So now with Texas, is that part of that number?
Texas is part of the number.
Okay. So what? Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Auburn, LSU.
I mean, throw Oklahoma in there.
So then, I guess Florida, Tennessee. I mean, Florida's just
Florida can. They're the 7th.
Yeah. I don't think Tennessee's really there. I think that
I don't see Tennessee much. They can, they could compete. But I'm just telling you, past that threshold.
So half the conference is non-existent. Now I don't mean it in that
but
way.
They are.
Yeah.
I mean, but seriously, if you're waking up today as an Ole Miss fan and you're getting ready to watch a New Year's Six Bowl, which congratulations, like that guy I got into it with on Twitter. Congratulations for making another New Year's Six Bowl. Where do you go from here with the new landscape of college football? Next year, Ole Miss may make a playoff based on their schedule, based on what Lane Kiffin's done. But past that, do you have realistic expectations that your team can navigate the entire landscape of college football and win a national title?
I just don't see it.
Can you do it? Can you wake up realistically and think your program can navigate college football and win a championship?
I think they've got 2 of the 3 things you need to have it. They've got a good coach, and they're getting good talent. I just don't think they have the resource. That's where they're lacking the most, I think, is they can't compete financially.
And how long is that? And you said they've got a good coach. How long is Lane Kiffin willing to stay at Ole Miss and continue to fall short just a little bit? He's not going to do that forever.
Is he just holding out, do you think? I mean, there's not but maybe 3 other jobs I think that he would.
I don't think Alabama hires him.
Then I don't know where. I mean, if you're him, then yeah. I mean, from a competitive standpoint, at some point you do want to get.
Does he end up back in the pros eventually? Do we see? Is that where Jim Harbaugh's headed after this year?
Go. I think that's 99%.
I think Michigan offered him $125 million extension. Scared to death that he's going to leave. That's where we are in college football. Even Michigan enjoying all the success they've had here the last 4 or 5 years, and Harbaugh finally getting them back to relevancy. If he leaves, where do they go? Who do they get? I mean, is Ohio State happy with Ryan Day?
That's the job that I think is going to be open. Both could be open very soon, but Ryan Day has to be they're more concerned about beating Michigan now at this point.
But who is out there? Man, who are you going to hire, Ohio State?
Yeah.
Who are you going to go get? That's the deal. I mean, you better hold on to who you have if you feel semi-confident. I know it's frustrating to not get over the hump, but, Michigan fans felt the same way for a long time. I don't know.
If they were to win it, I know we're up against the break, but if Michigan were to, let's say they beat Alabama and they end up beating whoever they end up playing in the championship game, could they? I mean, that could have been. That's a team I think is a sleeping giant. They've been around, but obviously, but I mean,
no doubt.
If they win this, it could be
Texas and Michigan and Georgia. If you want to go back a decade, have been 3 massive sleeping giants that nobody has been able to get them to where they are until now. I mean, I think you're just now seeing what Texas is possibly going to be able to do, joining this conference and having a coach like Sarkisian. And I don't know, we're going to talk about it some more when we come back. Stay tuned, more Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
This is Joseph Dean with Alabama Funeral Homes. As many of you are aware, we had a fire that significantly damaged our facilities. We are in the process of getting those rebuilt. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused the families that we serve. I want you to know that we are capable of handling all of your needs at Frederick Dean Funeral Home of Opelika, which will be servicing Alabama Funeral Homes families. We can be reached at our same number, 256-896-4502, or by email at joseph@alabamafuneralhomes.com.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments left here in the first hour. Again, we'll talk about Auburn, Maryland coming up in the second hour. Just kind of going back and looking at this conference and looking at the landscape of college football, Scott. And, I mean, in a reality standpoint, I mean, I wanted to talk about that this morning. And if you're a fan of one of these programs, I'm even talking about Auburn. Not worried about it. I really not. I mean, Auburn's been its own enemy the last 10 years because of coaching decisions, administrative problems, discombobulation. Alabama
has been slightly successful with that. Sorry, Coach.
Yeah,
but like, even with all of that,
in spite of itself, has found a way, if you want to go back to 10, navigate its way to several SEC championship games and a couple national titles, you know, playing for them, winning one, on the cusp of playing for another one, making the playoff. But, you know, it's just so much discombobulation, and Alabama went through it prior to Nick Saban going there. I mean, it was every year like, what's this guy going to do, you know? And until you can get some stability, that's the number one ingredient in any program is keeping stability. And I think it's going to be tougher and tougher to do that and accomplish that in the landscape of college football moving forward with all the turnover from the NIL to coaches moving from one place to the next. There's just no loyalty, it feels like. So, and Nick Saban even came out and said, look, we're semi-pro. I'm not saying it's bad, but that's where we are, and that's what we're down to deal with. And, you know, I think most teams, we've seen it already in college basketball. Scott, the Blue Bloods aren't really the Blue Bloods. I mean, they're good, and they're always going to be at the top because of what they've done in their name and their legacy. But, you know, now Auburn and these other programs have crept their way up there to be mentioned every single year as a possibility of going maybe to a Final Four because of what the coach has been able to do and what NIL's done to level the playing field in the open. There is no, I mean, there's still stuff that goes on behind the scenes, but you don't have certain programs in a fraternity in college basketball and football that if you're not part of that group, then you're going to get turned into the NCAA, and we're not ever going to allow you to get to this point. Now it's all out in the open, and you've seen the gap close very quickly between those top echelon programs and teams that now came out of nowhere and have a chance now.
Yeah, and I think that NIL, more the portal and NIL probably impacts basketball the most because of how quickly you could turn it around. But with football, it's even Alabama's playing for another one again. Georgia could, you know, they very easily could have been there, but the gap, even with those teams, I think is shrinking. With a team like, look, I'm just going to continue to use Auburn. And
I mean, just look at how Auburn played those two teams.
Like I mean, you know, ifs, ands, and buts.
But only certain teams, I think, can do that.
Yeah.
I don't think. Again, the one bright spot, if I'm Ole Miss, Missouri, Mississippi State, is that if you can get your collective up and you can get your people to buy in and you really want to compete for championships, now you can go out and buy you some players. But if you don't get that total buy-in, you're going to wash even further down the track. So, but I would be a little bit relieved to know that the NIL thing has been able to even the playing field somewhat, but I still don't think teams like Mississippi State, Kentucky, South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina, Scott.
Yeah. Like they're not, and I
mean, look at Clemson. They've fallen off a little bit here.
you have to engage in what the landscape is that you're involved. Like whatever the surroundings are, that's what you have to do. And for me, I think that even if you are somebody like, we'll use Ole Miss, like you could have, I think, in spurts where you could say, all right, we're going to go all in and we're going to try to get it.
Sure.
But it's not sustainable. Those teams that we mentioned that have an opportunity in the conference, at least they have the financial resources pretty much every year.
I'm going to go out on a limb and
it.
say Ole Miss's best shot to win anything ever will be next year. I mean, you look at their schedule.
Yeah.
Look at who they have coming back. It plays out. I mean, this portal class, it seems like, you know, this is right now in the here and now, not for 2, 3, 4 years down the road, because the high school side of recruiting for Lane Kiffin is nowhere near what the portal side is. He's gotten these top players out of the portal to come in, try to help this team make a push next year to see if they can get over the hump. I can see them making the 12-team playoff next year. Can they finish the deal? No, I don't think they can, and I don't think outside of next year they'll ever achieve whatever they're going to achieve greater than what they're going to achieve next year. I'm looking into the future.
I don't disagree with that, and I'll ask you this. So we used to talk a lot about, and Auburn being one of those schools where we were building, especially on the offensive line, we were building through like JUCO, like we were bringing guys in, bringing guys. So is under the current structure, is it like can you can't win? So you
not
have
in the portal, not in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got to have a good mix, and I think the portal's there for you to go plug and fill in holes. For you to go and get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys and expect all of them to start and contribute coming out of the portal. Now, again, the naysayers out there, I hate to use that word because that's old Milrose terminology, but for naysayer purposes, you know, you go out there and you get a bunch of high school guys, and they go, well, how do you know they're going to pan out? You expecting a bunch of freshmen to come in and start? I think from a longevity and building depth, that's where you got to be. A portal guy is a fix for something that you're trying to get to another. Again, it's not saying that you don't get good players out of the portal and they don't help you. I mean, look at the wide receiver that Florida State got from Michigan State that we were in on. We would have loved to have had him this year, right?
Yeah.
Auburn, as much as Peyton Thorne didn't achieve, glad we had him because I'd have hated to see what we'd have been without him. So there are, but those are temporary fixes, I think. So not long-term.
So really it's like, so kind of going like with 2010 where that's with Nick Fairley and with Cam, like those were two players that you
very impactful.
Yeah.
Can they help you? Oh, absolutely they can help you. But why did Auburn not stay where they were? Because their recruiting, it was smoke and mirrors. So
that answered the question. Yeah.
I mean, look at the teams that have been able to sustain success. They have repeat top 5 classes year in and year out. That's how you sustain success. You build a foundation. You don't go – because you can't go grab Cam Newton every year out of the portal. You're not going to get Nick Fairley to reinforce your defensive line every single year. So you got to go get some people in high school that will build a foundation. You got to recruit at the top of the heap coming from a high school. And I love what Hugh Freeze understands that. He says what he's doing. So up against another break. Stay tuned. More to the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City. Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry?
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Let Riverbank and Trust open doors for you. Whether you're purchasing land, a lot by the lake, or building or buying a home, begin with Tallapoosa County's loan experts. They'll guide you through the entire process, providing local decision-making, prompt responses, and the best real estate loan solutions for your unique needs. And in most cases, Riverbank and Trust can close your loan in 30 days or less, and they'll walk by your side every step of the way. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. We invite you to experience it for yourself.
It's truck season at AHSAA Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month. At AHSAA Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at AHSAA Honda, Tony Serra Ford, Serra Nissan, and Serra Chevrolet.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Final segment here in hour number one. I'll just randomly name a team out of the SEC. We'll just go down through these teams and kind of build off what we've been talking about. LSU, yes.
Yes.
Right. Mississippi State.
No.
Vanderbilt.
No.
Arkansas.
No.
Texas A&M.
See, that's the one.
Yes.
So, okay.
Why? Because of money,
All right.
stability.
That's the one that's on the.
And I don't really get the right person in there, and get everybody pulling in the same direction. Texas A&M could be a powerhouse.
Are they yeah.
They can be. They can.
All right.
They fall in the category of yes because of money, facilities, fan base. They got everything. They just got to get their administration right. Auburn's the same dadgum way. Auburn's got the best football facility in the country right now. And it's making a difference. I mean, the timing of Auburn getting that done was perfect because now you're not seeing resources put into things like that anymore. But Auburn kind of got in under the wire. Now they got this immaculate facility when you bring recruits in, and now you add NIL to it. You go, man, why wouldn't I want to play there? So, Missouri.
I think that this could be was a kind of a
this is a flash in the pan.
Yeah, I don't think that. And they've been around. But I don't think they can win a national championship.
No, I don't.
No, I don't think they.
They beat a depleted Ohio State team. If McCord and Marvin Harrison Jr. on the field last night, Ohio State wins by 3.
They don't score 3 points.
By 3 touchdowns. I think Ohio State wins, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Florida.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Georgia. Yes. Mississippi State.
No.
Why would you even hesitate?
Because I think about with baseball, and I'm like, all right, they could do it there. Why couldn't you? But it's not the same thing. So, no.
Michael said A&M and Auburn can't get out of their own way. Hopefully Auburn's waking up. That's my point. A&M and Auburn can be giants in college football. They're top 15 historical. I think Auburn's proved that. A&M maybe not so much in the last 20 years. they've really underachieved. But Auburn has shown they can get to the top and they can win it. That's, again, there's 12 teams, Scott, since the BCS and college football playoff to play for multiple national championships. Auburn's one of those, okay? You know, and Hugh Freeze kind of continues to say that. There's only a select number of teams that have even played for two. And Auburn's one of those, even though, as you just mentioned earlier, in spite of ourselves, in spite of all the crap, and having a guy like Brian Harsin, who we're going to try not to mention his name in 2024. By the way, he's in Thailand. I saw an Instagram reel. I mean, it's like made some kind of dream vacation or, man, life is great. Well, no kid. I mean, I bet it is. I bet it's grand. And he's all feeding elephants and staying in some bungalow out in the rainforest. I mean, yeah. I mean,
and see, that's the thing that you've always talked about and we've talked about on the show is that how quickly too Auburn can like rebuild. And so when I don't think it's necessarily rebuilding if you can do it that quickly. Like it's just the foundation is there.
Yeah. They're an anomaly, man. They can bounce back. I mean, I'll never get over the 12 to 13 year. You couldn't get any worse of a program than 12. This is the worst team I'd ever seen at all. I think everybody would.
I mean,
agree
it was
with that.
49-0
every
week.
As soon as the game kicked off. And then to tell me in less than 12 months you went to a national championship game and probably should have won the dadgum thing? Yeah. Who does that, man?
So, like, that's – I don't know. And, like, I know we pump a lot of Auburn stuff from time to time, and so you got two Auburn guys up here, so I'm going to stick with it. So, Luke,
we have an Auburn show 5 days a week, Scott. Yeah. You don't have to apologize.
Yeah. So my thing is that Auburn is in a position where because of I think what separates Auburn, and I watched Trevon Reed, and he was talking about it, and it really is like you don't have to sell anybody on Auburn. When you get them there is no selling. Like you go to the Iron Bowl.
That's why people said back, not to cut you off, Scott, but back during COVID was so detrimental. And look, Brian Harsin couldn't recruit. He could walk in as the only coach in a seminar of 5-star players and not come out with one. So I'm not giving him a pass. But 2020 was detrimental, and you heard Jason Caldwell and you heard Brian Matthews and you heard all the recruitniks for Auburn say it's hurting Auburn worse than any other program, you know, from a standpoint of Auburn has to get guys on campus. Mm-hmm. They have to get them in the environment. And you can't recruit through a Zoom meeting. You know, some can. You know, if at the point of Alabama and Georgia where you've had that much success, you can get on a Zoom meeting with Nick Saban or Kirby Smart and probably achieve what you need to achieve. But Auburn's got to have it, and just like you brought it up, what Trevon Reed said, got to get them on campus, man. That coupled with Brian Harsin was almost like an atomic bomb. I mean, seriously.
It is, and like I hadn't thought about it in that fashion, and like I'm sure in real time I was thinking, you know, this probably hurts Auburn, but it is when you combine the ineptitude that the coach had and his inability to recruit on top of not being able to get people on campus, it kills it. And so again, like
worst
Auburn,
recruiter in history plus COVID equals destruction.
100%. And that's, I mean, that's no hyperbole. That is 100% what it was. And so I think that now you have an active recruiter in Hugh Freeze at the top, right. But his staff is phenomenal, and we're in on guys that we never would. I'm not going to say never would have been, but
add one more element to the mix. You had a divided staff. You had potato guys over here on the left, and you had the Auburn guys that were left, and they didn't get along. So your staff was divided. The locker room was divided of players. I mean, we already heard that. You had a couple of guys coming out defending Harsin. The rest of them like, you can go with them. I tell you what you can do. You like them so much, why don't you pack up your stuff and go plant some potatoes with them back in Idaho? And so that's kind of the whole deal was divided. Then you had an athletic director that I don't even know if he knew daytime from nighttime. And then Stephen Leith left in the middle of the night. It was the worst president Auburn's ever had. You had all that at one time, by the way.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Auburn has – every team can have its Mount Rushmore of greatness, but Auburn does have one hill over here to the left that has Sonny Galloway, Tony Barbee, and Brian Harsin on it as a reminder of how bad you can be.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's putting things in perspective, like especially now. Like, next year, probably 8-9 wins would probably be what I'm thinking. I think we're 1 year away from after this year. Well, 2 years.
We need Joe Kynes back at Alabama. The trap.
Yeah.
We need. I mean, we had no idea that was the height of enjoyment for Auburn and everybody else. And then Nick Saban rolled in, and he has steamrolled all of it away. So anyway, up against the top of the hour break. Stay tuned. Second hour Saturday Sports Countdown coming up right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
The coast is here. Wharf Casual Seafood is serving up all your favorites: shrimp and grits, po' boys, tacos, seafood platters, and so much more. Don't miss out on our famous loaded fried green tomatoes. Wharf Casual Seafood is located on Highway 280 next to Regions Bank.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today, Lake Area Realty, at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
The coast is here. Wharf Casual Seafood is serving up all your favorites: shrimp and grits, po' boys, tacos, seafood platters, and so much more. Don't miss out on our famous loaded fried green tomatoes. Wharf Casual Seafood is located on Highway 280 next to Regions Bank.
Truckloads of new and used models, over 200 on the ground or on the way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Check out the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 4-wheel drive crew cabs, discounted up to $12,250 off. The best-selling and well-equipped new Chevrolet Equinox, discounted up to $6,000 off. Enjoy no payments till springtime.
Get your best price every day at Glenn Smith Chevrolet on the lot or online at glennsmith.com. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown, hour number 2, last hour of Sports Blitz programming of 2023, Scott, and been a great year. Kind of had some reflection in the first segment or two of the program on the past year, and I want to thank everybody out there that continues to support us and watch us and comment, and couldn't do the show without you guys. It really was designed for that, for you to have a platform to interact, and we're going to build and continue to grow into 2024. Looking forward to it. bowl game today. The first one up on tap is Ole Miss and Penn State. Penn State is a 4.5-point favorite in this game.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense some, but
does it really?
But I mean, like I thought Penn State was. I don't know. I think they're comparable teams, but I don't know. I think Ole Miss could get.
Hey, I want to switch gears for a second. I
honest.
want to, before I forget, because I meant to say something in the first hour and I forgot. Ohio State in that bowl game last night, and Miami in that bowl game. Was it yesterday or day before?
Day before.
At what point in time do these teams go, all right, we're taking a shell of our former self into this game? That Missouri's going to tweet out, and I said this yesterday on the Auburn Blitz, means way more to Missouri than it does Ohio State. If Ohio State beat Missouri, they'd be like, all right, whatever. If Missouri wins, they're going to use that as a huge marketing tool. Finished 11-2, just beat Ohio State. Man, we were close with Georgia. Come to Missouri. You can help us. At what point in time do these big top programs go, man, I'm not going to go play in that game? I mean, because of the 12 team, and Randy said this yesterday, the 12-team playoff waters down the bowls even more than they're watered down now. Okay? So you got the New Year's Six, and even the New Year's Six, that was the Cotton Bowl last night. Did anybody care?
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Yeah, on a Friday.
Friday night, everybody's like, well, that's the Cotton Bowl? And this morning, you're going to kick off at the crack of dawn and for the Peach Bowl?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it doesn't matter if you're not in that 4-team. And it's not going to matter even more now if you're not in the 12-team playoff. Who wants to go to the Aloha Bowl?
Well, see, and that's the thing. Like, I'm sure these people have paid. That's where it's from an advertising standpoint or like sponsor standpoint. I don't know if I want to continue to be the sponsor of these games.
I said that yesterday.
Like what?
At what point in time does this bowl system, or do you finally say this isn't working anymore? These teams are shells of their former self. I mean, look at Auburn. And Auburn was not a very good team this year. All right, I think everybody knows that. But they're even amongst themselves are taking a shell of themselves. I mean, you're going to have a whole new secondary back there. You've lost – I forgot what all I read yesterday on guys opting out. I mean, you don't even have even a 6-6 team doesn't even have its best players. Maryland's not going to have Talia Tungavailoa, who is by far the best player on their team, and the Big Ten leader in passing. And, I mean, at what point do you say, man – this isn't doing us any favors to play in this game from a national stage? Everybody goes, well, when Auburn went and laid another egg. I mean, because you're going to look back at the record and you're not going to remember who opted out. You're just going to look back and go, back in 2018, Auburn played Central Florida in the Peach Bowl and lost 34-27. And they were ranked number 7 in the country. And Central Florida was ranked 12th. I was at that game, which sucked, by the way, because we didn't want to be there. We had just missed, and I tried to overplay it. If you go back and rewind, I was the one on this show, and I'll eat the words. I said, no, we're going to show up. It's a New Year's Six game. Man, they didn't want to be there. It was very apparent, and then Central Florida was trying to finish off the best season in college football in their college history. So their motivation was 10 times what ours was. And when you put it out on the field, it's a real deal. And I know we laughed at Alabama playing Utah in the past in the Sugar Bowl or whatever. But when you have expectations and you fall short right there at the end, you're like, man, do I have to go through this? Do I have to I mean, all right, let's just go over here and do what we got to do and to get through it. And so there's a real element to that.
I agree. I mean, you think about Georgia, Florida State. And it's like,
you think Ohio State was fired up to play in that game when they know if they'd have beat Michigan, they'd been in the Final Four? No, they weren't fired up. So, Missouri was.
So I don't know how you can remedy that, though. Like, I mean, do you just say, I mean, to some people, it is a big thing to make a bowl. You know, if you're, I don't know. I mean,
are you going to be upset if Auburn loses today? I mean, it doesn't matter. It does in the fact that we want to win and build on momentum for recruiting and stuff like that. But, okay, you beat Maryland and finished 7 6. Oh, okay.
See, and Luke, there was a time where I held what he said to some credence about, it gives you a few extra weeks of practice and you kind of see what you got coming up.
But you can do that for everybody anyway moving forward.
Yeah.
You can just say you're gonna get an extended, almost like a second spring, and you can do that. You ain't got to go to these 2-bit bowls that draw 3,500 people, and it's just not any good. They're not fun to watch. Yeah. I mean, because you don't have the real. I thought David had a great analogy. You buy the tickets to go see Journey. You go to the souvenir stand and buy you a T-shirt and said you went to the Journey concert, and you go into the concert and there's one guy that's left in the original band out there, and you're like, who the heck are the rest of these guys? But it says Journey on stage, right? And it kind of semi-sounds like Journey. But it ain't Steve Perry up there singing anymore. I think you look at it, Kyle McCord and Marvin Harrison Jr. made up Ohio State this past year. Neither one of them played last night. And then the backup quarterback for Ohio State gets hurt. So now you got a guy that hadn't played a lick out there trying to win a bowl game. Look at Oklahoma. That poor guy, he may be scarred for life. He was the #1 dual-threat quarterback in the country. He turned the ball over 5 times. Yeah. What do you think he's carrying into spring? He's got to live with that performance all the way to spring practice.
Man, I don't know. I just can't. I don't see the upside, especially now, to y'all's point, with it going to 12 teams. Like, what are the top-tier bowl games that you go to?
That's what I'm saying. The 12 – if you think the bowls are bad now, when you put the 12-team playoff into play, they're going to be diminished even more. Does anybody care about the Pop-Tarts Bowl outside of the mascot? The Duke's Mayo Bowl and getting a big old vat of mayo dumped on your head. I mean, it's not going to matter. It's even going to matter less. And Mo said put it in their NIL contracts, bonus money for playing. You could. But I still don't think that adds relevancy back to these bowls. And you can force some guys to play, but some of those guys, they're going to say, I tell you what, I'm going to get more by going over here. Like Marvin Harrison obviously is not coming back to Ohio State. I know there was rumors of a $20 million one-shot NIL deal to come back to Ohio State, but obviously that was junk because he's leaving to go to the NFL. I'm just saying that these bowls, when the inception of the bowls, like the Gator Bowl, yesterday was Kentucky and Clemson. The Gator Bowl used to be one of the prominent bowls. Back when there was only 5 or 6 or 7 bowls. Now it's just kind of diminished to a Friday afternoon and the end of December. It has no relevancy anymore. So I don't know what you gain out of that. I mean, it's lost its luster.
Yeah, and I could see a scenario. Like, I think the 12, it'll continue to grow. Like, I could see eventually where it's just you could possibly use these bowl games as play-in games, possibly. I don't know, but you can't have – I don't want to keep saying I don't know, but like Jacksonville State, I think it's huge for them to go down and play, in New Orleans and get the play.
Well, it was said in here, we had a comment. Roger said these bowl games are only important to the small schools now, like Jack State, South Alabama, teams that don't have a chance to play in the playoffs.
Agreed.
Isn't that where we're going? Excuse me. Isn't that where we're going anyway? Aren't we going toward a separation? I think we are. So we know that. Up against the break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
If you're looking for something to do in the Lake Martin area, you have to go to Liquor by the Lake. Liquor by the Lake is not only the best place to pick up your hard-to-find liquors and craft beers, there's a bar. An awesome bar serving up specialty cocktails and martinis. And the best bushwhacker and creamsicle drinks at Lake Martin. Make plans to come out for happy hour Fridays from 7 to 9 with half-price beer and cocktails. And there's live entertainment on Thursdays. You can even watch the Alabama and Auburn games and Sunday and Monday night football. Liquor by the Lake located on Highway 49 in the Big Fish Complex near Stillwaters. Open at 1 every day but closed on Wednesday. Come see us.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Truckloads of fresh inventory are rolling into Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. Come see and drive the new full-size GMC Sierra 1500 trucks, discounted up to $13,500 off. And the roomy and stylish GMC Terrain, up to $6,700 off. Plus, enjoy no payments until springtime.
Get your best price every day at Glenn Smith GMC on the lot or online at glennsmith.com. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. And Sunshine Heating and Air got some good comments coming in. Michael said, why bonus money for playing? They're paid to play. So drop that NIL part altogether. So I don't know that you can convince a player to go play in an irrelevant game. I mean, you could put something in a contract to say, you know, to get all of your money. I see what Mose is saying. To get all of your NIL, you got to play through the entire season, including a postseason game of whatever that is. Do you want them in the? Are they going to really give all in that game if it's irrelevant?
And see what I
like
guess
forcing Marvin Harrison Jr. to play in that game last night. What do you? Yeah, I think he's a different player. He would have gone out and gave 110. But I do, because I could see in his face last night he wanted to be on the field. But he had been advised not to do that for obvious reasons. We all know everybody's not like that. So you're going to say you got to play in this game. To me, still running out a bunch of –
the issue is going to become these TV networks who have these contracts for those games and those advertisers who are now
and they're not getting any views.
They're not getting any views. Like, so there's something's gonna have to give,
right?
Because money is going to be the answer to the question.
I thought Jason Caldwell said it on Twitter yesterday. He said, "Why does ESPN feel the need to promote the 14 playoff during halftime and at the end of every bowl game and before every bowl game? You know why? Because that's what's making all the money." That's where the attention is. Nobody cares about the Peanut Bowl, you know, or the game that they're currently watching. They don't care about that game. All the attention. It's like, can we fast forward through all this junk to get to to what matters, to where you're actually playing for something? Yeah. And that's what it's going to be with the 12-team playoff. Nobody's going to care anymore about are they going to care even less about these bowl games when the 12-team playoff rolls around?
Agree.
They're going to be like, can we get the playoffs started? All right, let's use NFL, for example. You get the playoffs. You have the playoffs. And the teams that make the playoffs, what if the rest of the NFL, what if they started something and said, well, we're just going to create this exhibition / whatever game for all the teams that didn't make the playoffs, and we'll start the playoff season with those games. Do you think anybody's showing up for that? Nobody cares that the daggum Vikings are playing the Jets in some has-been no-care game.
I agree.
I mean, that's my way of comparing the two organizations.
I can't. It used to be a big thing, and so we're Roger's point about Jacksonville State and South Alabama. So my cousin is a cheerleader for Jacksonville State, and the experience that you get, and that is great. But I think it's more impactful, to his point, for schools like that who going into the year there is no opportunity for you to play for a championship. And technically,
this is no cut on Troy, but Troy fans were excited about going to the Birmingham Bowl. And, for Birmingham's sake, they ought to get somebody that's excited about going to their game. Now, they didn't win the game, but they went to the Birmingham Bowl and they played in another bowl game. When Auburn goes, and hopefully never again, but when Auburn goes to the Birmingham Bowl, what do people say? God almighty, man. It's like it's negative connotation. It's just a bunch of negative. It's the end of a failed season. It's not what it should be.
And for Auburn today, now location of these bowl games I think plays a part too in the participation and excitement. So Nashville's a pseudo Auburn play. I mean, like, it's very Auburn centric. So yeah, you go get a lot of support there. When we go play in the Outback Bowl, Tampa was very similar in that regard.
Anytime you go to a venue in Orlando or Tampa, people go, well, I can go double that as a vacation. And people in Nashville go, well, it's Nashville. There's worse places to be on New Year's Eve. Wow. And spend your New Year's.
But but
who?
The thing is crazy. Like, bowl games been going on for 3 weeks nearly, 2 weeks, I guess. So middle to early December, where it's like middle of December. So like a lot of these games on a Tuesday. You don't even know they're playing. Like it's the
Pinstripe Bowl. Could you find a place, the Fenway Bowl, Boston College? If you could order up more miserable weather than to sit out in that junk that those people were sitting out in, I mean, who cares? Yeah. I mean, they've tried to craft these creative venues to go to, but I don't want to go to Boston in late December and sit out in drizzle in 34-degree weather and watch a minuscule bowl game between two mediocre teams. I think you said it. The venue has as much to do with the lore of the bowl game now as anything. But back when you only had 4 or 5 bowl games, back in the 80s, the Sugar Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Gator Bowl, when you only had 4 or 5 games, it was a big deal to get invited. That's not the case anymore. You got 50 bowl games now. Teams with losing records are going to fill spots. It's not the same system. It's just we keep doing it because it's how we've done it the whole time.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's a fit. I don't think there's any. I mean, there's just so much money. Like, just going back to that, there's just so much money involved in all of this. But like, at some point, are you getting a return on your investment? Because you're probably locked in. Like, when you sign these sponsorship deals, it's probably 3 to 5 years that you're the sponsor.
This whole conversation started with, if I'm Ohio State or Miami or I'm any of these top 12 teams that I named off earlier, and you didn't make your goal or you missed your goal and you kind of get relegated to this bowl game, and you go and your starting quarterback's not playing and your best wide receiver's not playing, your best linebacker's not playing, your best whatever's not playing, that's not a sample of who we've been all year. It's Ohio State by name only, but we're not running the same team out there. Let's get this phone call real quick before we get a break. Caller, go ahead.
Hey, it's Luke, guys.
Hey, Luke. Hey, man. Well, hang on just a second, Luke. We'll go to break. We'll come back and get you on the backside. All right, stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Have you stopped by Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store lately? If you haven't, you should. You'll find great pieces for your favorite do-it-yourself project. Lightly used name brand clothing by Free People, North Face, Matilda Jane, Patagonia, and a whole lot more. And while you're there, don't miss the shoes, decorative pieces, classic and new books, and Auburn and Alabama gear that won't cost you a fortune. So stop and shop at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store today for a unique thrift experience that won't break the budget. Lifesavers Mission Thrift, located on East University behind Zaxby's.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at dunningroofingal.com for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill in Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple of segments left here in 2023 for Sports Blitz program, and we want to welcome in Luke Robinson, our good friend and co-host here on our program. And Luke, it's hard to believe, about to head into a new year. Boy, they go by fast.
They do, and it's it's hard to believe we're about to be here at 2024, but hey, survived another one.
We did survive another one, and talking about bowl games, to kind of get your take on this, we've had a great conversation for the last couple of segments, had a lot of people chime in on Facebook with comments. The 12-team playoff will be in effect next year, which we talked about maybe diminishes the bowls even further than where they are now. And we talked off there just a minute ago about, for teams like Missouri, there was a lot more to be gained than was to be lost. And then the flip side, Ohio State, if they'd have beat Missouri last night, they'd have been like, oh, well, we just went and won the game. But you lose the game. Missouri uses that as a bunch of, ammo to market themselves and build their program up. We use some other examples. I just don't know how much longer this bowl system can sustain itself.
Well, look, there's a lot of things can be true. First of all, I'm pro bowls because there are some serious advantages. I mean, you can, like today, I have some Auburn friends that are going to Nashville. It's an easy trip. They can take their 2 young kids. It'll be relatively inexpensive. Yeah, it'll be cold, and it's not going to be the prettiest weather in the world. But, you know, this time of year after Christmas, everybody's probably done playing with their new toys. You're probably like, hey, I got to do something with these kids for a couple of days till they get back to school. And so you go up there, you drive up there, and you can come right back, and it doesn't break the bank. The other side of it is, like you talked about in the Birmingham Bowl, Troy dying to be there. Auburn, when they go there, it's still laughed at. And it shouldn't be because it is a bowl, it is an accomplishment. But what we've done, like everything else, we've lowered our standards what it took to get to a bowl. Now, we did that, and I say we, just as a society, because other places were like, hey, everybody else is making money hosting these bowl games. Why can't we do that? And that's the other part that people keep missing. I mean, for years, practically a decade at least, people have said, hey, these bowl games are going to start going away. Well, they aren't. And one of the reasons they're not is because ESPN and Fox and CBS, they're looking for content. They're looking for new content. And this is a game that it is content. It might not be the game you thought it was. And I understand that too. I mean, the Cotton Bowl is not as big of a deal as it once was. It used to be such a huge deal. Like Bo Jackson and Texas A&M played against Texas A&M, and A&M beats them. And shoot, the Aggies still talk about that. That was a big deal back then. It's just not a big deal anymore. But there is a lot of money involved. There is a lot of practice involved. It does give you a chance to allow some guys that are going to be playing for your team next year to get some experience on a big stage. And if your school is in the right position, that's another thing. One thing that I really hate about this is the way they pair teams. I wish that we could find a better system to pair some teams. I mean, in my perfect world, we'd probably cut out about 10 bowls anyway, and that would make them more alluring. Because we have so many bowls, we have teams that are 5-7 playing another team that's 6-6, and you're like, this doesn't do much for me. But last night, for example, Missouri beats Ohio State, and I'm going to tell you that by the end of the game, all everybody could talk about was look out for Missouri next year. Ohio State's not going to get hurt. I mean, everybody was like, what about Ohio State? Well, they'll still be Ohio State. I mean, they'll still bring back a bunch of people.
Smoke and mirrors.
McCord had already transferred. Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't play. Another running back had already transferred to Kentucky. Right. And obviously that's, you're not worried about Ohio State. But for Missouri, this is a monster deal. Today, the 11 o'clock game, if you could tell me, name a game you want to see that's not the playoffs, I would tell you I want to see Ole Miss play Penn State. And here's my reasoning for that. I think both teams are going to show up. I really do. Ole Miss is bringing back a bunch of people. Jackson Dart's already said he's coming back. There's already a re-energized sets around that program because they have 10 wins this year. They're going for their first ever 11-win season. And they've got all these transfers coming in. Meanwhile, on the other side, you got Penn State. This is a team that certainly has some cachet, but they feel like they can't ever beat Michigan and Ohio State. It's like Michigan, Ohio State, Gap, then Penn State. But if they beat this Ole Miss team that's pretty highly ranked, both these teams would have been in the playoffs this year.
Well, I'm going to say this about that. I agree with you to a point on that game. I think it's game to game, but I think going back, bowls were created as an incentive and a reward for a good season. The bowl system has become what we've become in the United States. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets to go on a trip. Now it's watered down. Now, again, you got to make something you got to make it relevant. You got to make it incentivized to make some type of excitement come back to some of these games. You're talking about a New Year's Six game. They tried to make this New Year's Six a lore. Last night, the Cotton Bowl was on a Friday night. It just – again, it's not the same as it has been in the past. This morning, you wake up and play the Peach Bowl on December the 30th. I understand the marketing value of the New Year's Six, but if you're not in the 14 playoff, these New Year's Six teams are teams that go, this is your consolation prize. I do agree that this game here, there's a lot of ramifications heading into next year, so you want to show up. And again, Ole Miss hadn't really won anything since the 60s, so they have a lot to play for. But for the Alabamas that don't make it some years, and the Ohio States this year, and whoever, Auburn in 2017 that gets to go to a Peach Bowl, when you get your goals dashed at the end of the season, you're not motivated to play in these games. And I think you're right. I think if you diminished about 10 of them and figured out a way to match teams up a little bit differently than the way they've been doing it all these years, things aren't the way they were in the 80s when there were 4 or 5 games. You wake up on New Year's Day and the Citrus Bowl and the Cotton Bowl and all that were fun, competitive games. USC and Auburn playing that game. It's a different deal, so you got to restructure it somehow, especially going into the 12-team playoff.
And look, I would love to see that. It'd be great if there were some way to make that happen. The problem is, and just like you said, back in the day, these things were more of a reward. And then, everybody loves to talk about the Alabama-Notre Dame thing in '73 when Notre Dame beat them in a bowl game and Alabama was still sharing a title with them. But see, back then the bowl games didn't count for anything. So, they had already named a national championship before that. And then that morphed into, okay, we're going to include the bowl games. Well, now people are saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't include the bowl games in some of these rankings because, Ohio State played without X, Y, and Z players. And so we're still trying to find our footing with it, because the other thing is this is not like some there's not some governing body that is saying, okay, we're only going to have 30 bowls. That's it. That's 60 teams. That's plenty of teams. Because what we're saying is, hey, if El Paso, Texas gets a sponsor and they're like, hey, and CBS wants to pay us some money to put a game on, and everybody can make a little bit of money. No, it's not as much as we want, but we all make money and we get content and the 2 teams get practice. Yeah, we're going to do that, and you can't stop us. It's sort of like having a jamboree game, and the problem is that's what it's become, is a jamboree game, and so it's hard to get really, the thing about college football is you live and die with a victory or a loss. That's what makes it so passionate. In a bowl game, you're sort of like, yeah, well, I wish we had beaten Missouri last night if I'm Ohio State, but I'm not really beat up about it. I got to see it. It's sort of like watching a spring game. And you talked about the NFL a little bit ago, and I get why people talk about the NFL and they have playoffs and they have this and they analogize it to college football all the time. But NFL only has 32 teams, and that's what these people do for a living. So no, they're not going to have.
But there's really only 30. There's really only 32 teams in college football that have a legit shot at even compete for anything. I think that's why we see it shifting the way it's shifting. You got a 12-team playoff,
right?
And I think there's and we know that. So hey, let's go to break. Come back. I'll get you to continue on and get your thoughts on Alabama before we go off the air. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal. the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today. Lake Area Realty at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. Still have Luke with us. Luke, let's dive in real quick in this segment before we let you go. Alabama to take on Michigan on Monday. Just your thoughts on this football game as Alabama's back in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think now, I mean, it feels like everything sort of settled down after the Florida State stuff, not making it. And I think people are beginning to finally realize, hey, these are probably the four best teams, and these are two great matchups. I mean, the color matchups alone are awesome. I mean, it's just fantastic. And, you know, look, I'm not a big proponent of the Rose Bowl as a place to watch a game because I've been there a few times, and it's a tough place to watch a game. I think the stadium needs a lot of work. But the venue in terms of, or the view in terms of seeing the mountains in the background and just the pageantry of the Rose Bowl is pretty awesome. And these two teams are going to be a lot of fun. I mean, look, Michigan's better than probably the first two teams they've brought up in the playoffs, and Alabama's probably not as good as some of the teams they brought in the playoffs. But I think where Alabama is a lot more lovable this time, at least from a nationwide perspective, is that this team has its warts and they're kind of exposed, and yet they're still playing through them. It's not Nick Saban's automated slapping machine that it was for a long time. It's a team that's really, really good and can beat you pretty good, but they can also, you know, play down to their competition. And so this is going to make the game a lot more challenging and a lot more entertaining, I think, for everybody. Because, look, if this team were playing like normal Nick Saban teams, this probably wouldn't be as much fun. But, I mean, this is a game where Michigan started out a 1.5-point favorite. It's fluctuated between Michigan being -2 and -1 ever since then. I really thought the spread would switch into Alabama's favor, and it hasn't. And I think this is going to be a ton of fun. And then the Texas-Washington game is going to be fantastic. I mean, it's just a great place. You know, New Orleans is going to be hopping. Washington, they went to the playoffs before in 2016, and they played one of those automated slapping machines and got beat up pretty good by an Alabama team that really didn't play well, and they still got beat up pretty good. But this Washington squad has a great quarterback. They've got some fabulous receivers. They've got a coach that knows what he's doing. I mean, that's really good. And then on the other side, you got a Texas team that everybody's hungry for a resurgence. So I think this is a fantastic playoff day. I mean, it's going to be one of those, you know, it's not going to be a game like Georgia and Michigan a few years ago or something like that where it's just one team just barrels over another. I don't think this is going to happen this time. I think both these games are going to be incredibly competitive.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be two really good games. You can look at Michigan with J.J. McCarthy's only lost one game as a starter. That's pretty astounding. And then you look at Jalen Milroe that 3 or 4 games into the year didn't know if he was even going to be the starter and what he was able to accomplish this year. So that game, a lot of the storylines involved in that game are going to be fun. And, of course, Texas and Washington, like you said, just a very intriguing matchup, two high-powered offenses that really get after each other, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, Luke, we appreciate it, my man. Have a good New Year's Eve and New Year's, and be safe. We'll catch up with you in 2024.
All right, guys. Happy New Year.
All right, happy
See
New
you,
Year.
Luke.
Lot of stuff to process there, and everybody's got their takes going back to these bowl games on why they should be or why. There's points to be made all the way around. I do think the system's going to change. I don't think it can sustain itself because I think lesser and lesser sponsors are going to see value in it. I think you said that. And Luke brings up a point. If City of El Paso wants to have a bowl game or whatever, so be it. But at the end of the day, them trying to go out and find somebody to sponsor that's going to be tougher and tougher because they want to put their money, if they're a big sponsor, into where the eyeballs are going to be with the 12-team playoff and the relevancy. And, again, the cross comparison to the NFL, Luke makes another point. 32 teams in NFL. Well, really, there's only about 30 teams in college football that have a legit chance to even be mentioned as a contender for a national championship. You might get an outlier every once in a while. We've tried to get the Tulanes and the TCUs of the world a shot. That was such a embarrassment last year. I don't think anybody's going to go down that road again.
I agree, and I was just trying to sit here and think, how many games would we feel comfortable with a college team playing? Like if you go to the 12-team, you
see that in itself's an issue.
So because I could see where, like if you said, all right, we're saying you got 30 teams legitimately, so we have a full-blown tournament, but you couldn't play 18, 19 games, I don't think, as a college team.
No, you can't.
So like that's.
And are you really fired up if you're a top NFL prospect of adding three more ball games to a season at the end, where it's already grueling anyway? I mean, you look at these schedules SEC teams are having to go through. You're going to have to navigate that schedule. Then you're going to have to turn around and go play in a 12-team playoff. I mean, it's like, the tread on the tires aren't as much at the end of the season as they are at the beginning of the season. You're more susceptible to injury toward the end of the year. You're banged up. You've been through a full gauntlet of games and tough competition. I don't think the players are all that fired up about it. And so, again, a lot to navigate.
Yes, I mean, I think this is a good conversation, and I'm sure that people much smarter than me are sitting in some rooms trying to figure it out, but I can't see a scenario where it can continue on the route that it is, primarily going back again to the money. Like if I was if I'm FedEx, do I want to be a sponsor of some bowl in
obviously not anymore.
Too? Yeah, I mean even a Premier Bowl,
Orange Bowl.
So if you're not in, if your bowl isn't part of the championship bowls, then is it a big thing for you? And then when you're rotating, that's what made the BCS bowls. It was big, but even then, if you weren't the 1 and 2 game, if you weren't the championship game, the value in your sponsorship doesn't mean as much as it would be if you're in there.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. Up against the final break of the show. Stay tuned. One final segment right after this.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours, Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
This fall, nobody beats Martin's Sports Pub for Lake Martin's best sports experience. Martin's all-star lineup of cold beverages and pub fare food can't be beat, with the region's best wings, burgers, and signature dishes. At Martin's, you always have the best seat in the house for all college and NFL on our multiple 360-view TV and huge projection screen with surround sound. See our pigskin scoreboard weekly to win big money and let our all-pro teams serve it all to you at the place we all win. Martin's, Highway 34, Dadeville.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care, open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Welcome back, everyone, to
We
the
made it
Saturday
almost the whole show.
Almost made it to the Saturday Sports Countdown finale here in 2023. We appreciate everybody that's joined us throughout the year. I want to thank our sponsors. Looking forward to a fun 2024. Moving forward, a lot of things coming down the pipe that we're excited about that you'll be finding out more about as we head into 2024. But didn't talk a lot about the ins and outs of the Music City Bowl, but Auburn and Maryland will finish out here. And Happy New Year to you too, Roger. Appreciate it. All of you out there, Happy New Year. Be safe out there wherever it is that you may be traveling to, or if you're just hanging out at the house or whatever. Be safe heading into 2024. Just your thoughts on this game today.
I'm kind of indifferent, and I hate being like that as an Auburn fan. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do for the game today, and talked to a couple people. They had forgotten that the game was even today. It had reached that point.
Well,
and
it's
so,
just,
and that's another part in the bowl games. So just you have to wait. If you're not one of the premier teams playing, you don't even know when you're playing.
And when you get and if you can get in for $15 in a can of soup to go to the local charity, again, it gives people an opportunity to go travel to a venue and do some.
And for the kids,
we laugh about it, but it is.
I think for the kids, especially too, there are people who now you do get to travel these different places when you're going to play in bowl games. In regular season games, but
right.
It's something to be said to be able to go to Nashville or wherever some of these teams are playing. But saying all that, I think for me, I just kind of want to see who some of the guys are out there and maybe what we have. Who are some people.
Hugh Freeze was laughing at the press conference yesterday. He said, well, you're going to see a new team on the field.
Yeah, so
he said, but that could be a good thing. You know, and I think, again, the extra practice for DeMarcus Riddick and Malik Blockton and some of those guys that enrolled early that we've been able to see getting ready, gives them a jump start on what's going on. You got the All-Star games, the Under Armour All-American game, and you got what used to be the Army All-American game coming up in the next few days. Auburn's got a lot of guys, and Alabama's got a lot of guys in both of those games. So for Alabama and Auburn fans out there, you get a chance to watch some of these guys that you're going to be seeing next year on the field for your team. So it should be a lot of fun. Tony said, New Year's resolution for Auburn, make the 12-team playoff next season. And I think there's a good chance of that happening. I mean, the schedule's not impossible to navigate. I think 10 wins is where you got to be. You got to make it to that 10 win. You got to be there challenging for your conference championship. And, you know, I think Randy said yesterday if Auburn can somehow split the Alabama-Georgia games that'll be on the road next year, and they win 10 games, that'll put them in a great position to make the 12-team playoff. So, Tony, you're right. With an influx of great talent, if they can get it all going in the right direction and execute correctly, I think Auburn's got a good chance there. So that's a lot of anticipation and excitement going into 2024. But just your prediction on the game.
I'm going to go Auburn 27, Maryland 23.
27-23.
27-23.
So Maryland gets 23.
Yeah, I mean,
their quarterback's throwing 4 passes.
Well,
he probably like
I don't know if we've defended 4 passes. That's what I'm saying. 23 may sound like it. I don't know. It's a bowl game. I almost that game last night kind of weirded me out. So, but when you don't, so 3 points was just inexcusable. But
here's the thing. You know, again, I said this, and people use things. All the commentators, watch out for Missouri next year, and that rightfully so. They had a good year. They had 3 points, or they were down 3-0 to a depleted Ohio State team with pretty much all their bullets in the gun. So let's slow the roll just a minute. You know, it's not.
That's how I felt about it.
Yeah, I think, come on. I mean, so yeah, they finally got it going, but you know, they weren't playing with a full deck of cards. Ohio State and Missouri pretty much was, and it was still that crappy of an offensive performance for them. So they won the game. They get to market it. At the end of the day, in 20 years, you look back and you go, we beat Ohio State, the Cotton Bowl, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day. So, Scott, it's been a fun 2023. I want to thank everybody out there, all of our sponsors, especially JR's and Sunshine Heating and Air on this program here and on our Tuesday night program for being the long-time sponsors there. Couldn't do it without them. And our Auburn Blitz program, all of our programs, Lake Martin Sports Roundup, been a great year. Looking forward to a fun and prosperous 2024. Happy New Year to you, buddy.
Happy New Year, brother.
And Happy New Year to everybody out there. We've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you in 2024.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
It's truck season at AHSAA Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month. At AHSAA Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at AHSAA Honda, Tony Serra Ford, Serra Nissan, and Serra Chevrolet.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
So you want to build a home,
Build the home you want with America's Home Place. Choose from over 150 floor plans, then personalize. Tile backsplash with granite countertops? Done. A spacious bathroom you've always dreamed of? You got it. Choose every detail, floors, cabinets, even the paint color.
How about electric lime?
Can't decide? Relax. At America's Home Place, we take care of it all. It's your home. Own it. America's Home Place.
Truckloads of new and used models. Over 200 on the ground or on the way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Check out the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 4-wheel drive crew cabs. Discounted up to $12,250 off. The best-selling and well-equipped new Chevrolet Equinox. Discounted up to $6,000 off. Enjoy no payments till springtime.
Get your best price every day at Glenn Smith Chevrolet on the lot or online at glennsmith.com. Get ready to smile.